I had a really good session yesterday with someone, and a wonderful phrase came up that I want to share in this talk. And it was the discussion that we were having was about the understanding and the knowledge of non-duality, and that is often it often comes up in these talks with the intellectual understanding of what's going on here, but the gap or the space that comes with that deeper than knowing, that sort of instinctual element of knowing. And the phrase was a commitment to being. And it sounds so simple, but it was her way of verbalizing and mentioning and really understanding this idea of acceptance of things as they are, including the place that you may find yourself, or we have, maybe you have found yourself as you're seeking. Commitment to being. Nisargadatta Maharaj talked a lot in his books. He talks about earnestness. I think of that as the phrase, just keep going, just keep doing it, stay on this path, as if you had any other choice. But that commitment to being, that commitment to just being and understanding and feeling everything as it happens, everything that apparently happens in this play of life. Oftentimes we hear, or I'll get messages from people that will say, I just want to be happy. I just want to stop suffering. And that is understandable. But full acceptance, full commitment to being is all aspects of life happening, all aspects of this experience unfolding in the now, in what is, in this space. And with that acceptance, with that commitment to being, there is no good, there is no bad. Good and bad are just labels that are placed. They're just thoughts that arise. And it's all just happening. It's all just what is happening. Now, I get a lot from the sessions. I learn, I guess I hope they're helpful to the people that I speak with. But I typically, it's an exchange. It's not, it's more of a collective description rather than a prescription of things, to do. And I could feel an energetic sense of calm and well-being when that discussion about acceptance and that phrase "commitment to being" came up. In fact, I said that's beautiful. That's a perfect way to state it. She said, it didn't come from anywhere. It just came out. And oftentimes these talks, I try not to force them. I just want to see what comes up, and so much of the thoughts and the ideas that come up to make these videos happen from questions that are asked or conversations that happen. And so I was extremely grateful for that one, and extremely grateful for that phrase. Can you, there's no you, there is no you, but can this character of you accept everything as it is, everything as it happens, these apparent events, these apparent people that arise in your life, all of it, the good, the bad, the suffering, the joy, it's all just this. It's all what is happening. And it's even interesting to say, to that word commitment has a stickiness to it, because it implies that there's something that needs to be held on to. And same with earnestness, that does as well. And in that regard, you could even go further with that and look at, it's just another element of faith. And those sort of miss the mark, as all words do. But that said, every morning you wake up, you open your eyes, and you're this apparent character living this life. The character of Noel has stuff to do. And the commitment to being doesn't it doesn't mean that there's a especially we're in the new year and people are setting all these goals for the year, which is fine. But I guess the problem, if you want to look at it this way, the opposite of that commitment to being is that you're non-committal to that, and you can't really be that. It's really, if nothing else, it's just a phrase that's a reminder that, or even a reminder to come back to the starting point of being, come back to the starting point of what is. And it even sounds strange that it's a place that needs to be returned to, because you never leave. You can never be anywhere other than this. Yeah, thoughts can arise and go and take you on specific journeys, and I mean the true benefit of even understanding and finding non-duality, it's the ultimate leveler. There's nothing else there's nothing else that beats it, because there's nothing else. There's just this, and there's so much. I always trip over my own words, but there's power in that, because you come back to this base point of being, and it may feel as if there's a return, but your experience, what you truly are, awareness, has always been there the entire time. Lots of questions come in, how did it happen for you? What did you do? And I've answered that in other talks. But the main final unfolding wasn't some big duh. It was, it's always been this. It's always been this. And for 40 plus years, maybe there were hints, maybe there were glimpses, but for 40 plus years, I just was looking beyond it for something else, for something outside. And it was never outside. It never is. And even when it feels outside, it goes away. That goes away. It's fleeting. That's not permanent. Being is permanent. What you are was not born, does not die, has always been this. And the phrase commitment to being, if nothing else, can possibly serve as a reminder that it's not really actually a commitment. It's just an acknowledgement that this is it, and this is what you are in all the experiences, in all of the events, in all the apparent others that come into your life. And that includes this apparent suffering, and that includes the apparent joy. But true acceptance, true allowing of what is where peace is found, is being.